All right, we're going to start the 4th annual Sarasota Cigar Box Guitar Festival. All started, thank you, started 4 years ago. Or maybe, yeah, it was 4 years ago over at Ocean Blues in the parking lot. And we've had a lot of great entertainers over the years, and it keeps growing every year. We're so happy this year to have Justin Johnson and our vendors that work hard. You know, we try to support all the vendors here because they make these guitars in America, and it helps our local economy. And I'm proud right now to introduce a young man who came up to me. I'm also a musician, and he came up to me years ago with one of his cigar boxes and put it in my hand at a gig, and I fell in love with CMR cigar box guitars. And right now Charlie's going to do a little seminar on how to build a cigar box. So ladies and gentlemen, how about it one time for Charlie Reisner from CMR Cigar Box Guitars.
We'll just do it here somehow. Okay. Somehow here we'll make it work. All right, how's everybody doing? Thanks for coming. I'm gonna do. Last year I had done a completely different kind of build here. If anybody was here last year and watched it, over the last year I've developed a kit, and I've done some workshops to where we've built the guitars from scratch. Get 8, 10, 12 people in a room, and in 2.5 hours we walked out with a playing guitar. And it goes together with hand tools, not, you don't have to pull out no drills or no power tools to put it together. And Steve's been at them, and he's played everybody's guitars after we build them, and made everybody really happy. So here's what we got. We got the kits. The boxes are already cut. This is already cut out and everything, and the holes are already drilled. So it makes the thing go together really quick. The necks are already cut out, already finished. Or mostly on this kit, it is finished, but most of the kits are going to be when you get them. If you would buy the neck, it doesn't have a finish on them, so you could finish them any way you wanted to. But these are already finished, and the frets are burnt in. The slot for the nut and the holes and everything are in it. So I don't know how many of you guys are interested in building guitars, or have tried to build your own guitars, or or that kind of thing. How many people play? How many people play cigar box guitars? So, okay. Well, we'll start from the beginning. If we're gonna put this together in the school, I'm gonna be doing a workshop pretty soon. I hope, if I get enough people together to do it. I'm not exactly sure when and where we're gonna do it yet, but if I get enough people signed up to want to do it, we'll put a class together, and on a Saturday we'll do it in the morning or in the afternoon, and go from there. And have a good time and have a guitar after you're done. After we're done putting it together, we'll all have a guitar that plays. Okay. Well, let's do this. We'll start putting the parts in it. We don't need to have them. Everybody can hear me without the mic. It's kind of a feedback. Yeah. Try and talk into the mic and work. So, like I said, the box is already drilled, and the sound holes are in this, so it'll go together. We can put it together pretty easily. The neck is already drilled. All the holes are drilled. So we'll put the tuners in first, and then we'll screw the neck in the box. I don't know if everybody knows anything about tuners, but when you go to put the tuners in the holes, the gear on the tuner always goes, and where your string wraps around, always goes towards your box. So when the tension is on it, it pulls your ears tight on the left and right tuners. I'm going to clamp it down to the table, and it makes it a lot easier to operate on it without having to wrestle around with it. I'll drop the little screws down in between the cracks in the wood will be good. all kinds of different ways to put tuners in, and different setups on headstocks and that kind of stuff. Do the tilted headstock. You can do the straight headstock. It just they always said everybody's always said, and Shane Spiel probably is the one that's always said is there's no rules to the cigar box guitar thing. You can. That's what's so great about it is you can put your own ideas into an instrument and have something that plays after you're done. It's for the person that don't want to build their own. There's always me. You can buy one from me. Are you Sarasota? I'm from. I live down in Northport. That's where I get myself going here. Yeah. Where do you live at? Oh, you. Yeah, you said you were. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the parts and like what kind of parts are important parts and what kind of parts could you not have to worry about? Like could you make a neck out of just about any kind of wood you found?
Well,
some kinds of woods that are better.
Yeah, well, I've made all kinds of used reclaimed wood from different things to make necks, and found some really good wood out of different places that actually held up really wood, that really strong wood compared to buying it, going to a lumber yard and buying your lumber, buying your wood for your necks. Because I do a lot on some of these things. I do, pine and poplar, which is common. It's it's inexpensive. And then I do if I get into something, I do more fretting, and if I do fretting and stuff, then I'll do some poplar, or I'll do oak, or the harder woods, and make a nicer neck. But I found over the years it's even if you're doing 3 strings especially, and it depending on your scale lengths, you're not gonna the necks don't bow that much without a truss rod, and going to putting a truss rod and stuff it's a whole nother procedure, and that's getting into being luthier, and it takes a lot of time to build guitars, when you start putting truss rods and all that kind of stuff in them.
And can you talk a little bit about the resonator box? I mean, obviously, this conventional cigar box is sort of, I don't know, the historical standard, but I see a lot of metal resonator boxes made out of tin cans, pie cookie cans and things like that. Is this really just a matter of sound quality and
preference? I mean, you when you start making a metal body and putting in a tin, then you're getting more into the resonator, brass bodies, copper body, or not copper bodies, but that kind of stuff, and that really, you're getting into a whole different kind of sound. I mean, put in a wooden box in, the harder wood boxes have a different sound than a wood box like this. Right. I mean, some of this is pressed wood, some of it's plywood, some of it's, but I find that they all have a different sound, and some of the ones like this, they sound cool, they sound good. And of course, if you get into a metal box like that, or different ones, it's got a more solid sound, but sometimes it's hard to come up, some places if you got to start buying boxes, people want $10 for a box, but by the time pretty soon you got how much money in a guitar before you're even building it, and it adds up pretty quick. Okay. All right. Now I'll mount the neck in the box.
What did you put inside that box to reinforce it?
It's I glue corners in. A lot of times I'll glue corners in all 4 corners. It helps strengthen the box. And different people have all kinds of different ways of doing the inside of the boxes. But I glue my my mounts in.
What kind of glue you use?
Regular wood glue.
like wood glue, just any wood glue?
Well, I use what you call a pine type or whatever. I mean, but any wood glue is going to hold it in. You're not going to. It's not like it's most of the stuff on the market's really good glue. You don't have to use any epoxy or anything like that. I mean, it's going to stay in. It's not like you're going to go out and use it for a hammer out and beat somebody over the head with it or something. I don't think, but Other than that, I mean, then, you know, I always found the toughest part of the whole thing of building them, besides the neck, was always cutting the holes in the boxes. It's trial and error. Everybody builds a different way, and everybody cuts them out a different way. And I don't like it when I try and make tight the holes tight around the neck, but I see stuff on the internet that people are selling for $200-300 for a guitar, and their holes around on their necks are like huge. And I go, well, I try and make them smaller because I don't want them to look that bad. But they still must get money for them when they sell them, even though they're not a nice tight, you know, close fit around looking at it. So I do a lot of on these kits and stuff like that. I mean, scale length thing, you can do any scale length, of course, but I do a lot of 24, 23 inch, and I do a lot of Gibson, like 24 3/4 scale lengths. But I do a lot of 23s on some of this kind of a kit and that kind of stuff, because it's the shorter scale length. The frets are a little closer together, but you don't have to. It's less string tension, so it helps on your bowing. I mean, if you're doing a high fretless or like a burn-in frets like these are, it really doesn't. You really don't care how high your frets are or how high your strings are off the neck most of the time, because you're playing slide with it. If you were if you had frets in it and you were trying to get it down lower, then of course you want it a little stronger. You don't want the bow, because of course, you know, down a year from now, pretty soon your frets or your neck really gets bowed, and pretty soon you got your strings are so far off the frets, and then you got to try and get it back again. So but it's just like anything else. It's a preference on which you want to build and what you're looking for, you know, in a guitar. I usually use 2 screws. If you want to, you can glue the neck in, but if you glue the neck in, sometimes if you ever want to take the neck back out and replace the neck, if it's a really nice box that you don't want to lose, you might not want to. Oops, what I'm doing here, talking and looking and not paying attention to my holes. That you might not want to glue the neck in. And I mean, once you get it in tight, I've never had one vibrate loose in 5 years, and I've been building for 5 years now, and I haven't had a neck come loose on any of the ones that I've built. So. And if you were going to put a pickup in it, then you're going to have to, you know, if you wanted to put a Pisa pickup, you can use a neck like this. But if you were going to put a humbucker or any kind of electric pickup in it, you're going to have to change the neck around in order to get the pickup in, because of the depth of the pickup in the box and the neck and everything.